Thanks for joining today and for your consideration for Milliman Pixel as your rate comparison tool. We'll be going over the web application, covering basic reports like average premium, one-way rate comparisons across competitors by rating variables and territories, and then also go into some deeper dives in custom reports, including filters and premium distributions by various rating characteristics, as well as some mapping features. For the purposes of this demo, we'll be using a Florida HO3 market basket as to not include any proprietary data. This is a notional sample of Florida that represent a 10% basket of actual locations with simulated rating attributes. It is also possible to upload your own internal data for analysis. So as the market basket is initially loaded, you'll see there are no policies loaded. This is because we need to select who all of the carriers are that we want to compare with. So to start out as a primary, we'll select Citizens as they are the insurer of last resort in Florida. As far as secondary carriers, as you can see, we have 39 on this particular market basket, but usually you only want to select a couple, mostly of your main competitors or main competitors that you'd like to target. I've selected about 11 as an initial subset, so we'll start with those. Once those are selected, you'll go ahead and hit update results, and all of those competitor rates will now be loaded into Pixel. So the first tab that pulls up is the policies with the premium tab. What this does is it shows how many of the overall 342,000 policies that are included and rated by Citizens are also rated by these carriers in their rating algorithms. Reasons why a carrier might not be included or certain risks might not be included could be because they don't offer particular coverages or deductibles, or they have certain underwriting characteristics that mean they wouldn't return a rate for certain risks that you would get a rate back for Citizens. As you can see, most of these are near 100%. If you'd like to look and see how close they are, you can actually do export and export the page into a CSV. And this will show a little bit more detail beyond just the hover 100. You can see here that there's actually only two that are like the Citizens, obviously they're rating all of their own. And it looks like only FedNat has 100% to a T, but a lot of the other ones are very close to 100, as you can see. So once you've determined that a vast majority of the risks rated do generate a premium, it means you'll have a good comparison data set. So at this point, I usually like to go ahead and save my story so I don't forget like which, so I don't have to go through and update, redo all of the primary and secondary carriers selected, but also so I can then like save a link off and send it off to a colleague or save my place in my work. So for this, we'll do market basket analysis, Florida. And for this, we'll just do analysis of today and save your story. You'll also notice that the top here used to say default, but now it actually has the title of this story that I have loaded. If you ever want to go through and see which carriers are included as you're going through the other tabs, there's this handy little filter summary pop out as well. So as you click that, you'll see it's the HO3 Florida market basket. It has the primary of Citizens, and then this is a list of all of the secondary carriers. So for the simplest basic report, you might want to know what the average premium is across all of the competitors you have loaded. So that's located on the average premium tab. So here you can see we've got the carriers listed alphabetically. what their average premiums are on this bar chart. And then the red line represents Citizens mark. So it's easy to see which bars are below and which bars are above. If the alphabetical arrangement doesn't look great, you can always switch it to actually rank all of the different carriers by their average premium. So here you can see there's 2 that are below Citizens, and then the rest have an average premium that's above. This can also be exported to a CSV in the same action. So download the page to CSV. And once again, we have the average premium for all of those carriers, and Citizens being the third one. So now that we have an idea of our overall position among our selected competitors, let's dig into a particular rating characteristic. We'll move to the Carrier by Variable tab. So this allows you to look at a single rating variable or 2 of them and see how the rates change across them. So like I mentioned, all of the loaded variable names are here, as well as a bunch of the other like physical location attributes, things like city, county, territory, and then the things that you're used to seeing, credit, distance to coast, etc. So for example, let's have a look at coverage A and see how the average premium varies. So in the first column, you'll always have the primary carrier, and that's going to be pinned on the left. So as you scroll to the right, you'll always be able to see the Citizens view in your screen. The coloring here is currently based on the row. So as you can see, basically the darkest green is going to be the lowest premium, and then the darkest red is going to be the highest premium. So as we scroll to the right, you'll see all of them are pretty green, and then we've got a red one that pops out as St. John's at $1,300. The rest of them are quite a bit lower. They're kind of in this $1,000 to $1,100 range. So that's why St. John's is so much darker than all the others. To contrast that, if you look at the next range, the 100 to 150,000, Cypress is much higher at $2,400, and St. John's isn't quite as high. It's down to the 2,000. You can also select other rating attributes here. Let's look at, for example, year built. So here, once again, you can see across different carriers, we have different competitors having the highest rate and then some having lower rates among different areas. If you'd like, you can also do a two-way analysis where you can look at a particular fix for one variable and then see how it varies by the other. So let's keep the year built theme here, and then we'll look at coverage A within a particular year built. So this is going to be a much longer table because it has each combination of the year built, and then within that particular year built, it'll have every single combination for the coverage A. As you can see, just if we were to focus just on older homes, built 1930 and prior, this will give you the competitiveness of the primary compared to all of the others for these different coverage A groups. And then it goes down for each combination. Like all the other tabs, this is available to be exported. This one is going to be a bit longer just because it is so many different combinations. But as you can see, they're all here. So we end up having about 130 different combinations here, where we have all of the different carriers' average premium and then how they compare to each other. You'll notice that this one is blank for Cypress in each row of 0 to 100K. This is likely because they have some sort of setup in their rating plan where they don't provide any premium amount to risks below $100,000. Another way to look at a single rating attributes is over on the by rating variable tab. So we'll look at, let's look at coverage A again. So while the carrier by variable gave information on how each particular carrier ranked among, like their average was compared to the others, this will actually give you a box and whisker plot of how all of the policies within that particular group were spread out. So this 150 to 200K, this had 88,000 policies, and you can see what the median was and how far away that is of the median citizens policy. So for these middle, like 100,000 to 300,000, citizens is below the median by $12. But then as we get up to the higher, more expensive houses, citizens is actually higher than the average by about $12 again for those 600K plus risks. But you can also see on average that this is overall a lower number of policies that are within the loaded market basket compared to up here.